Welcome to our channel, Learn Competitive Programming with CodeChef. If you are interested in competitive programming and want to learn and master data structures and algorithms, then this is a one-stop destination for you. Every week, we'll post CodeChef problem explanations, conceptual videos on various programming paradigms, and also conduct live problem-solving sessions. But before we actually get started, here's a reminder to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. Great! Now that you have subscribed, let's get started. So today we'll be solving the problem Chef and Easy Queries, which is a cakewalk problem, and it is from the October Long challenge. Now let us see the agenda for today. First, we'll be understanding the problem statement. Then we will try to understand the concept through which we can solve the problem. Then we will discuss an overall summary of the problem statement and whatever we have understood about the concept. And then we will do a quick walkthrough of the code. So let's get started. So before we rush to the problem statement, I have some great news with you. Unacademy, in association with CodeChef, has come up with live competitive programming classes. Yes, you heard me right. So these classes will be taken by the top coding experts from around the world, ICPC finalists, women techmakers, and whatnot. So if you are interested in really learning competitive programming and about data structures and algorithms, then you must join this course. So it is only $999 per month, and you can get an instant 10% discount by using my referral code, which is given in the description box below. It is Prachi 16. So please do subscribe for 1 month and get your competitive programming going. In this problem statement, Chef has published a blog post and now he is receiving some queries related to it. So he receives QI queries on day I for n number of days. Like suppose you can see in this example that suppose we take an example of n equals to 5. That means the chef will keep on receiving queries for 5 subsequent days. So on the first day, he has received 10 queries. On the second day, he is receiving 5 queries. On the third day, 1. Fourth day, 7. And likewise, on the fifth day, he has received 2 queries that he needs to answer. Now, it is given that on each day, Chef can answer at least k queries. That is a maximum of k queries. As you can see here, I have taken k equals to 6. So in any particular day, Chef can answer a maximum of only 6 queries, not more than that. So suppose on the first day, he has to answer 10 queries. But according to the question, he can only answer a maximum of 6 queries. So that means here on day 1, he will answer 6 queries and 4 of them will be left out to be answered. So what about these leftover queries? So these leftover queries will be accumulated on the next day along with the new queries of that day. So like suppose on the second day, Chef has 5 queries to answer and from day 1, he will also receive these leftover queries, that is 4 queries that were left over. So that is what is happening in this question. And now what we need to find out? We need to find the first day on which Chef will answer less than k queries. As you can see, it's written here, the first day when he answered less than k questions. Now, this can only happen if on any particular day, the number of queries to be answered are less than the maximum queries that the chef can answer. Like suppose on day 3, we have just 1 query to answer. So it is less than 6. We are not considering the leftover here, so leave that part for now, but try to understand what the question means. If 1 is less than 6, that means the number of queries to be answered on day 3 is less than the maximum number of queries that the chef can answer. Then that will be the day when he will have answered less than k queries. So now let us see how we can arrive at that day. So now continuing with the same example, we will discuss how we can solve this problem. We will use simple brute force approach here. That is why I have drawn this table for you, and let us understand this table first so that it will be easy for you to understand the approach. The first column in the table represents the day number. So we have 5 days when the chef will keep on receiving new queries. That is why I have numbered them from 1 to 5. And why it is written day I? So I will be equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are the valid values that I can have. Now, second column represents the new queries that the chef will receive on any particular day. Like suppose on day 1, chef is receiving 10 new queries. On day 2, chef will receive 5 new queries and so on. Now the third table, the third column, it represents the total number of queries that the chef has to answer on any particular day. So the concept here is that the leftover queries from the previous day were to be accumulated on the next day. That is why we need this column here. So if suppose on the first day, chef can only answer 6 queries and out of 10, 4 will be left. So they will get accumulated on the next day, that is on day 2. And on day 2, chef will have a total of 5 plus 4, 9 queries to answer. That is how this question goes. And that is why we have this last column, which is known as leftover, which will calculate the leftover queries on any particular day that will be accumulated on the next day. As you can see here, count equals to Q of I plus leftover. Q of I are the new queries on any particular day, that is on the ith day, plus leftover, whatever will be the leftover of the previous day. Okay. So now let us fill this table and it will be clear to you how we are reaching our solution. Now on day 1, there are 10 queries to be answered, and you know that the leftover initially has to be 0. So count will be, that means the total number of queries that the chef has to answer is 10 plus 0 equals to 10. Now, what will be the leftover? So, chef can answer 6 queries at max on any particular day. So, the leftover queries will be 10 minus 6 equals to 4. Now, these 4 queries will be accumulated on day 2. So, on day 2, the new queries that chef will receive are in 5 in number, and he will receive the leftover queries from day 1, that is 4 in number. So, 5 plus 4 equals to 9. Now, chef has to answer 9 queries on day 2, which is greater than k. That is the maximum number of queries that chef can answer. So, what will be the leftover now? 9 minus 6 equals to 3. So, 3 leftover queries will be there, which will get accumulated on day 3 now. Now, on day 3, chef will receive just 1 new query. So, we'll write down 1 here. And the leftover queries that chef will receive from day 2 are 3. So a total of 3 plus 1, 4 queries needs to be answered by chef on day 3. Now this 4 is less than 6. That is the maximum number of queries that chef has to answer. So what will be the leftover? Definitely our leftover will be negative, because leftover equals to count minus k. 4 is the count, that is the total number of queries chef has to answer, and the maximum queries that he can answer is 6. So 4 minus 6 equals to minus 2. So definitely this is the day when chef is answering less than maximum queries, less than k queries. So that means what will be our check? So you can perform any one of the following checks here. Both mean the same thing, it's just a way of saying it differently. So if your count is less than k or leftover is less than 0. So you can choose any one of the following and perform that check. And if any of these two comes out to be true, then that means that we have got our answer. So here count less than k is also true for less than 6. So we can perform this check also. Or alternatively, we can also say that leftover will be less than 0, because definitely if the number of queries that the chef has to answer is less than the maximum number of queries he can answer, then leftover will definitely become negative. So if it is negative, then we can say that that day chef will have to answer less than k queries, and it will become our answer. We will not need to calculate any further. We will stop at that day only, because we have already received our answer. Now, what if that all the 5 days are over, that is chef kept on answering maximum queries, and still after 5th day or after the last day also there are some leftover queries. That means chef has to answer some more queries even after day 5. Then what will happen? So let us see a special case for that also. So in this previous case, we have already concluded that our answer is 3. On day 3, chef will answer less than k queries. Now let us change the number of new queries that chef is receiving on day 3, because that is the only way when we can check a special case that I was talking about. So let us make it 100. 100 is quite a large number, and we will not change k, that is the maximum number of queries that chef can answer. We will not change that. Now let us see what will happen now. As we made changes on the 3rd day, now on 3rd day chef is receiving 100 queries instead of 1, and rest everything remains the same. So I have already filled the table with you. Now what will happen in this case is that even after the 5th day, there will be some leftover queries. That means we will not find our answer between day 1 and day 5. There will be no such day when chef will have to answer less than k queries. As you can see that on day 3, chef has new 100 queries, and he is receiving 3 queries from day 2, leftover queries. So the total new queries that he needs to answer are 103, which is far greater than the maximum number of queries that chef can answer. That is only 6. So definitely we can say that at last we are going to have some of the leftover queries. So what chef can do is that even after day 5, though he is not receiving any new queries, but he can keep on answering the leftover queries. And how many he can answer each day? So on each day he can answer 6 queries. He can keep on answering that. So 6 plus 6 plus 6, and so on up to the number, until when this total becomes 94 or greater than 94. So chef has to necessarily answer all the queries. So how can we find out the number of days that chef will take in answering all these leftover queries? So let us calculate that. If we divide the leftover, that is 94, by 6, that is the maximum queries that chef is answering on each day. So now chef is not receiving any new queries. So straight away we can say that leftover divided by k, whatever the quotient we will receive will be the number of days that chef will require to answer all the leftover queries. So 94 divided by 6 is 15.67. Now what is 15 into 6? So 15 into 6 is equals to 90. That means 15 days chef will necessarily take to answer all the queries. So he can answer 90 queries in 15 days. Now what are the leftover queries? So 90 minus 94 minus 90. 94 minus 90 equals to 4. We still have 4 queries left. So now these 4 queries are less than the maximum number of queries that chef has to answer. So what we can say, that on the 16th day, that is if we calculate only for the leftover queries, so then we can say that on the 16th day chef will get a chance to answer less than k queries. And as you already know that for these 5 days we had already calculated. That means for these 5 days were already used up, and this calculation was done only for the leftover queries. So what will be our final answer? Our final answer will be 5 plus 15 plus 1. How come? So 5 is the number of days that are given to us when chef is receiving the new query. So that time chef will definitely take to answer the queries. Now after those 5 days are over, chef still has some leftover queries. So for that we used this formula, that is leftover divided by k. So what is the formula here? Leftover divided by k. And we will take only the integer part of this division, that is 15. So in 15 days, chef is answering 90 queries, but still there are some queries left, that is 4 queries are left. So for that day, one more, this 1 is added because of this, because of these leftover queries. So we have added 1. So this will be our total, this will be our day when chef will answer less than k queries. So 5 plus 15 plus 1 is equals to 21. So we can say that on 21st day, chef will answer less than k queries. Now, will this formula work in all the cases? What if the leftover is divisible by k? So let us take a scenario, some number which is divisible by 6. So now leave this example, but just focus on the leftover. If your leftover is 90 and k, that is the maximum number of queries that chef has to answer, is still 6. So according to this formula, what should be our answer? It should be 5 plus 90 divided by 6 plus 1. Right. Now 90 divided by 6 is 15. That is 90 is divisible by 6. So that means that we can say that in 15 days, chef can answer all the 90 queries. But you cannot say that on the 15th day, chef has answered less than k queries. Is that so? No, because in all those 15 days, though 15 into 6 equals to 90. So in all those 15 days, chef answered 6 queries only. He did not answer less than 6 queries. So that means that after 15th, the next day will be the day when chef will answer less than k queries. Now you are not concerned that there are no queries left to answer. You just need to tell that if there is a day when chef can answer less than k queries. So the scenario will be, that is why this plus 1 will always be correct. So this formula will always work. Now this is n, the first n number of days, so that will always be counted. Then after that, leftover divided by k. So the number of days it will take for all the leftovers to be answered, and we will only take the integer part of this division. So now if there is if this division is a decimal, so that means that there is some remainder which is less than k. That is why we have done plus 1, which denotes that it will be the final day when chef will answer less than k queries. So now let us quickly summarize everything that we have discussed. So our solution will start from iterating to each day when chef is receiving new queries, and when chef is receiving new queries, for that each day we will first calculate the total number of queries that chef has to answer on any particular day, which will be the new queries plus the leftover. Then we will calculate the leftover for that particular day, that is for the ith day. So leftover will be count minus k, that is the total number of queries that chef has to answer, minus the maximum queries that chef can answer. then our check for finding the answer will be that if count is less than k, that is, if the total number of queries that chef has to answer is less than the maximum number of queries, then we have got our answer. That means on that day only, chef is answering less than k queries. So our answer will be I plus 1. Why I plus 1? Because this I variable will be used like a loop variable. So it will be from, if your n is equals to 5, then I will run from 0 to 4. So that is why the answer will be I plus 1, because day 0 will be equals to day 1, day 4 will be equals to day 5. So that way. And if we have found our answer here, that is, if we find this scenario where count is less than k, then we can come out of this loop, or we can end our loop. We have already found our answer here. Now, the second thing will be the special case when there are still leftovers. That means there are still leftover queries to be answered by chef even after he has stopped receiving new queries, even after n. So in that case, how we will check that? So the check will be if your leftover is greater than equals to 0. Now greater than 0, I mean that can be understood. So yes, if your leftover is still, I mean the leftover queries are still left, then definitely we need to find out the answer. But why leftover equals to 0? So if your leftover is equals to 0, that means up to that day, chef has always answered the maximum number of queries, that is maximum of k queries only. He has not got the chance to answer less than k queries, because in that case your leftover would have become negative. As you can see here, leftover equals to count minus k. So if this count will be less than k, then leftover will become negative. So that is why we are checking for leftover greater than equals to 0. And the answer will be our formula that we discussed earlier. So n, that is the number of days when chef is receiving new queries, plus leftover divided by k, only the integer part of it. That means the number of days chef needs to answer those leftover queries, and plus 1, so that we can count the day when chef is answering less than k queries. So this will be our answer in that case. And the time complexity of this approach will be order of n. So n is the number of days when chef is receiving new queries, and only for that we will keep on iterating in this part. In this part of the question, we will iterate for each day when chef is receiving new queries, and we will try to find out if this condition count less than k becomes true, and we would have found our answer. Otherwise, if we do not find our answer in iterating on each day, then we will only have to calculate this single line with the help of a formula, which takes only order of 1 time complexity. So our total time complexity will be order of n for this approach. Now let us check the input, output and constraints also once. So the first line of input are the number of test cases as always. Then for each test case, the first line of input will be n and k. These are two space separated integers. N, represents the number of days when chef is receiving new queries, and k represents the maximum queries that chef can answer on each day. And the second line of test case will be n space separated integers, that represents the number of queries chef is receiving on each day. And output will be a single line, that is the first day during which chef can answer less than k questions. And what are the constraints? So the constraints are like t is 10, the test cases are up to the range of 10 to the power 5, and k and q of I are given up to 10 to the power 8. But as you know that our time complexity for the approach that we discussed was order of n, So it will work pretty well, and there will be no problem when you'll submit the code. So are you ready to learn from the top coding experts? If not yet, then do subscribe to Unacademy Plus because they have come up with live competitive programming classes. You can use my referral code, which is Prachi16. The link is given in the description box below, and get a 10% instant discount. Alright, so let us discuss the code now. The variable description is given on your right if you want to reference it at any point of time. Now, in the first line, we are taking the input for the number of test cases, and then these are all the inputs that we are taking for each test case, that is n and k and q. So n represents the number of days chef will receive new queries. Then K represents the maximum number of queries that chef can answer on each day, and Q is the list which contains the new queries that chef is receiving on each day. Now our code will start from here. So we have initialized count, leftover, and answer variable. So you already know about these variables because we have discussed about them plenty in the entire explanation. So we'll quickly go on to the loop. So here we are iterating for each day when chef is receiving new queries, and when chef keeps on receiving new queries, so we will first calculate the total number of queries that chef needs to answer on any particular day, and also we will find out the leftover queries that chef could not answer on that day. So the total queries that chef will need to answer will be the new queries of that day, that is QI, and the leftover queries of the previous day. And after calculating the total, we will calculate the leftover for that particular day. So for that particular day, the leftover will be total, that is the total number of queries that chef can answer on that day, chef has to answer on that day, that is count, and minus K, the queries, the maximum queries that chef can answer on that day. So that will be the leftover. And we will always in this loop, we will keep on checking if at any point of time our count becomes less than K. That means that there is a possibility that chef is answering less than K queries. Then we have found our answer, that is the day on which chef answers less than K queries. So that is why we will store I plus 1 in the answer. So suppose if I was 1, that means that on the second day we found that chef can answer less than K queries. So that is why we are doing I plus 1 here, and break is used so that we will come out of the loop because we have already got our answer. Now there will be one more condition, that is if there are leftover queries that are that have not been answered by chef even if when he has stopped receiving new queries. So in that case, the condition will be if leftover is greater than equals to 0. So if there are still leftover queries left, or your leftover is not negative in this entire scenario, then we only need simple formula to calculate our answer, and this formula will be n. So n will be the number of days that chef has answered, chef has received new queries, so that we will always include, plus the leftover divided by k. So this double slash here in Python, it is used so that we get only the integer part of the fraction, and plus 1. So this plus 1 denotes that after these days are over, that is n plus leftover divided by k, these are the days when chef will necessarily answer maximum queries, that is k queries, and this plus 1 is the day when chef will answer less than k queries. So that is why this increment has been done. And finally, we will just print the answer. So that's it, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it. To stay notified of our upcoming uploads, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. And also guys, there are a lot of ways to do this problem. So I hope that you will try them out on your own as well.